So that's what I got in trouble for last week was my self-deprecating Jewish humor. Anyway,
Well, I was gonna go to that. We have the tweet up here.
yeah.
So the context last week. I mean, everybody knows that Congresswoman Ilan Omar, who is just, I mean, the Elliot Abrams thing. She's great, and she said something which whatever. If you want, I think if you want to do an assessment of like how things could be phrased more delicately, which is it's ridiculous conversation for somebody in comedy. It's not ridiculous for somebody in politics, but her fundamental point was actually just true and indisputable. And there was a whole bunch of disingenuous nonsense bullshit reaction to it and accusing her of anti-Semitism and all this stuff, which is nonsense. And I guess Chelsea Clinton got, and I don't have the original Chelsea Clinton tweet, but it seems like Chelsea Clinton got on the train and said something about, condemning Ilhan Omar. And I mean, just the idea.
No, not only did she condemn her, she said that she was playing on anti-Semitic tropes, and in her condemnation, she phrased it as an American. And Ilhan Omar is, of course, a Muslim immigrant and refugee who, overcame all of it to become a member of Congress, whereas Chelsea Clinton is someone that's had maybe 1.5 jobs in her entire life.
Hillary Clinton is
lucky enough to come out of the right womb, honestly.
Right. No, she's
and
like a trust fund baby who gives interviews explaining it like, I'm not a vegetarian anymore because I trusted my body to eat meat. And then she like tweets, and she had the temerity to say,
well, I think she's tweeting now because I think there's some sort of indication that like her comms team is like they want to like groom her for office, and it's probably so. If you think about it, it's so fucking pathetic. Sorry, I don't know if I can curse on this.
You can curse.
I can curse. It is so fucking pathetic because like you can just imagine the conversation was like, oh, what's cool now? Like what are like the cool new politicians doing? Oh, you got like Alexandria Ocasio. You got to get on Twitter. Like you got to start tweeting. That's how people think you're cool. And then like within the first 5 minutes of her starting to tweet, she's already accused of like just completely humiliated and shamed a Muslim woman for making a perfectly salient political point.
Right.
And done it in the guise of defeating anti-Semitism, which A, she is not a Jew, and B, like she's like completely like part of like what does seem to be somewhat well-structured network in Washington, D.C., where basically every single member of the Democratic Party condemned her or stayed absolutely silent, including Bernie Sanders and AOC. I don't even know what the hell AOC said. She said, like, it's good that you've learned, like, from your mistake or something. And then she basically apologized for it, which, in my opinion, was completely unwarranted because I think her statement was perfectly reasonable. And the only thing she said was that lobbying organizations spend money to curry influence in Washington. That is it. And it's just a fact. And because it involved AIPAC, she just got completely railroaded. And I don't know. So I got like pretty mad seeing that. And then I got pretty mad seeing Chelsea Clinton running her mouth on Twitter about where she was chastising people about anti-Semitism, something that's like, that's not even your lane, Chelsea. And so I made a mean joke on my
let me read your mean joke after. By the way, dude, again, I'm not trying to like fuck up your brand, but like very good political analysis. And then
I mean,
yeah,
thank you.
It's true, and I'm a professional.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Adam Friedland tweets, Chelsea Clinton isn't even Jewish. She's just ugly. Now, which is amazing.
To put in context, like, sorry.
No. I mean, you can put it in context in a second, but it's just, I just want to. There's an important point here, which is that Adam, despite being like a comedian and a co-host of a show called Come Town, he did what classy people do on Twitter, which is like when I write that Sam Harris is a gormless trust fund baby motherfucker whose like popularity is a national embarrassment. I don't put at Sam Harris because it's just tacky. Like say what you will, but if you're going to try to drag somebody, don't at them. That's whatever reason. Maybe it's misplaced, but that's just my sense of Twitter etiquette. So
yeah, I mean, like
you
the other
didn't
thing
at
is,
her.
like,
You did not at her.
I don't even see myself as like being in that game. Like just as a comic, we make fun of celebrities all the time.
Right.
And like I didn't think that like this would get any type of blowback other than just like making like a self-deprecating Jewish joke with Hillary or Chelsea Clinton being like the punchline for I guess my followers on Twitter. But I didn't think like I thought it was such a like separate world and I didn't think she'd honestly be a big enough fucking loser to name search herself on Twitter.
Well, that was my point I was getting to. The way she found this is by putting her name in a search engine and then clearly deciding that, one could only assume, I guess, just looking at your follow count and then just being like, oh, well, I'm going to get into that. And what's funny is like, you're right. Like you're literally doing. When I first saw your joke, which I thought was funny, I was like, this is amazing. Because now, like, in addition to all of the other fucking mess out of this Ilhan Omar thing, now we have, like, Borscht Belt jokes, like, are coming to it. Like, hey, Chelsea, you're just ugly. You're not a Jew. Like, that's literally, and it's a very funny joke, but that's, like, the level of that joke. So
of course, it's kind of like a throwaway joke on my, like, Twitter page. I didn't think that it was going to get quotes me. I didn't think Geraldo Rivera was going to see it and then start dragging me on.
Yeah, I didn't even know that you got dragged by Geraldo Rivera.
He's like, I'm terribly sorry, Chelsea. This Adam Friedland's a fucking schmuck. And you shouldn't listen to him. And then like Sandra Bernhardt quote tweeted it, and she was going off about how terrible this person is. But the worst part about it was just like my mentions just turned into an absolute cesspool of just like
Zionists.
I mean, my parents were like precinct captains for Hillary in my family's from Vegas, like for Hillary in 2008. Like they loved the Clintons. And I just felt like for the next 4 or 5 hours after that, just every 2 seconds I was getting like my mom was like popping up, and it was like Cheryl 7837444. Just some fake looking Twitter account, and they were like, "Fuck you for calling women ugly, you anti-Semitic alt-right Russian piece of shit. Like go kill yourself."
Whoa.
And, like I was just getting all these I guess they were probably 2.5 Xanax bars in and 4 glasses of wine, and they barely understood how the computer worked. My avatar on Twitter is just this picture of Chris Bosh, who used to play for the Heat Raptors, and some woman blew up my avatar, and she was like, "You're one to call someone ugly. Maybe you should look in a mirror."
That is so mean to Chris Bosh. What the fuck?
Yeah, Chris Bosh got dragged into this. I felt so. So I was just it was just a mess, and I was like, this sucks. I mean, I guess Ian Red, 3-4 days out now, I think it's pretty funny. And all my friends at the time were like, "This is great," and I was just like, "No, this sucks, dude." For the people that gripe about the coordinated harassment campaigns of Bernie Bros, I don't know what that was, but I was just getting all of these drunk 65-year-old women literally telling me that I'm hideous and I should kill myself. so I don't know what. I mean, they didn't have rose emojis and hammer and sickles in their fucking display names, but that's if anything else, that's what transpired. So I was just I'm gonna log off for a couple
it is
I think
pretty
people
funny.
thought that.
Yeah.
People thought that the Clintons got me taken off Twitter, which I kind of let that float around for a week just to think that I'm in a Clinton Foundation black site in Syria with a black bag over my head, and I'm getting waterboarded for my tweet or whatever.
Oh, you think my daughter's ugly? You think my daughter's ugly? Okay. Let's talk about anti-Semitism.
Do you feel after the fact, I didn't really think when I tweeted it, but after the fact, I do remember in the 90s when she was a kid, and then Rush Limbaugh calling her a dog and stuff, and that's not fair.
No, that was really fucking horrible. What happened to her as a kid was fucking
it's really
horrible.
terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, she's probably been treated badly before. I was just making some stupid joke because I got pissed off that she was like, you know, dragging this woman who's like literally, you know, 1,000 times more of the human being than she is in terms of what she's accomplished and what she's overcome.
Absolutely.
And then just trying to score points as like being this fucking hall monitor for anti-Semitism. And then getting to the point where she like quote tweeted me and then started to lecture me.
Let me have that. Yeah, because that's because that's where we're going next. So then you quote. So
would she go up to? Yeah.
Well, hold up one second. So she clearly is name searching her name. She finds your Jackie Mason joke. I'm going to stick with that. I kind of like it. Hillary Clinton isn't even Jewish. She's just ugly. Hey, you know. And then she quote tweets you. Hi, Adam. You're right. I feel like we should have the West Wing music under this. Hi, Adam. You're right. I'm not Jewish. Since you find me ugly, feel free to never look at me. And that, by the way, that part is fair. The ugly Jew is a vile, centuries-old anti-Semitic trope. So next time, please go straight to ugly and leave out the rest. Thank you. Where's the Aaron Sorkin music? There should be like soaring horns after that.
The West Wing,
Right.
So, I mean, like, that is so psycho to me. Like, honestly, you know, out of context, like, she could have seen that and it was like, what, you know, I was making some, like, some mean, like Borscht Belt, like, roast of her. But, like, getting to the point where you think that you are the elected spokesperson for the Jewish community to where you're lecturing Jews now on what anti-Semitism is and not having the self-awareness to just, like, log off.
Right.
Is just demented. It's absolutely psychotic. And like I don't get what the goal is here, but I mean it was incredibly upsetting to see what was happening with Omar, and I was just pissed off, you know, and I didn't think that the fucking president's daughter was gonna see my tweet.
Did you think that Geraldo was gonna get involved?
My friend Stav replied, and he's like, "Yo, like, thanks for setting this loser straight. Could you drop a couple more shirtless pics, but like drop the towel a little bit lower this time?" But I don't know if you've seen Geraldo's.
Yeah, what is Geraldo's one? I want to see the
Geraldo's
Geraldo
got, like,
one.
He's got like some sexy shirtless pics out. And so
Stav wanted more shirtless pics of Geraldo.
Yeah, Stav is like, yo, let me see. I want a couple more of those for the spank bank. But yeah, which is weird because he's like a Fox News guy now.
Yeah,
and like he's like coming out to bat for Chelsea or whatever. I don't know. It's strange, but no, it's pretty upsetting to me. Like I obviously.
Let me just read Stav's quote Let me just read Stav's tweet real quick. That is actually
what do you say?
I totally agree. Screw Adam. Geraldo, on another note, can you drop another shirtless pic, but this time with the towel a little lower? Wink emoji. Oh my god. All right, yeah, no, you were gonna say what was the thing you were gonna say? Go ahead.
I mean, like it's just crazy to me that any type of special interest you can talk about. It's like the fucking mafia. It's like the Cosa Nostra. Like there is no mafia. You know, like anytime, like she made an accurate point about AIPAC, and anytime the word is brought up, there is no Israel lobby. And I mean, to the extent that like I like Bernie Sanders, but like to the extent that he won't even open his mouth when this kind of thing happens. Right. It's like, what do they have on everyone in Congress? And I'm saying this as a Jew, okay? I'm going to preface this by saying this as a Jew. But if you want to make it seem like there isn't a Jewish conspiracy, this is not the way to do it. Because it's like getting that fucking apology from Omar less than 24 hours later, having like the leadership of like Pelosi and Schumer completely throw her under the bus, everyone in their own party completely throw her under the bus, including AOC, and then having her apologize. And then, you know, and then having Trump come out and say that now she should resign from Congress at this point. It's like, what? It certainly seems like there is some sort of coordinated effort to stifle any type of dissent. towards this subject. And of course, the subject we're talking about is a puppet state, or not a puppet state, but an ally of the United States committing crimes against humanity, committing acts of ethnic cleansing.
Well, we're talking about
breaking international human rights conventions. Like,
yeah,
there is. This is all done to defend absolute brutality towards some of the world's most vulnerable people. And if you pipe up about it, you're called an anti-Semite.
We need a coordinated dragging campaign on Ilhan Omar. Quick, everybody!
It's crazy that like call out culture and like canceling and stuff has now been co-opted by like people that are trying to torture Palestinians.
Well, to me, yeah, but I think that the original misuse and toxic manifestations of that culture were actually a lot of people doing Israel stuff. Because I remember back just like being in college, and again, it wasn't, like we weren't having this out and all these like dumb internet arguments, but you could be, talking about like an actual issue, like, some type of massacre in Gaza or the use of white phosphorus or something. And the response was always either, obviously like something real and wrong, but not like, the Holocaust. Yes, of course. But what does that have to do with what we're talking about? Or, an implication that you were being anti-Semitic or a self-hating Jew. So actually like all of the disingenuous, toxic versions of that bullshit were always leveraged in that argument. So it's full circle,
Yeah, it's just crazy. And like, I don't know, like I'm a comedian, and like the brand of comedy that I peddle, like my podcast and on stage, is like, I think pretty maybe self-deprecating, kind of maybe a little bit immature.
It's not nice. But it's not nice humor. It doesn't make people feel good about themselves or aspire to be better. It may be funny, but it is not nice. And you should know that, Adam.
Yeah, but when it comes to this subject, I mean, that's why I would go on I-24, and I am like a little bit embarrassed about like being so earnest, even now, or being earnest on I-24, but like this is something that like pisses me the fuck off, because I am like educated about this. I grew up in this world. I went like with my summer camp to lobby our members of Congress, like the oldest group in camp. They got a trip to DC, and they took us all to meet our members of Congress, and we lobbied them on behalf of the wall between the West Bank and Gaza. I met Harry Reid, who was my senator, when I was like 16, and I was like, Senator Reid, my name is Adam Friedland from tell you who that, and I'm here to ask you to support Israel's separation wall between the Jews and the Palestinians. And like,
Rabbi Shentova said that a wall between some nations is a crime, but between other nations is a mitzvah. Can you help us, Senator Reid?
It's just the most like blatant cognitive dissonance, where members of Congress can be like, Mr. Trump, we will never support your wall.
Right.
We will never support your brutality towards the refugees and the kids that are in the concentration camps on the border.
Right.
But then dragging this woman for saying anything about Israel. It's like, how can you not support it in context? Because I guess maybe because Trump likes it or something, and then wholeheartedly support it in another context. It's just like, what it really tells you is that these people stand for nothing, and our elected representatives stand for absolutely nothing. And in my opinion, we should be really mean to them, and they should be afraid of us. And that's the only way we could ever get anything done.
Bully the right people. Yeah. So Adam, I've got some bad news for you though.
What's that?
Been being very earnest.
I'm canceled.
Very earnest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're canceled for earnestness.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree with you 100%, and I think it's disgusting to ask me to put my values aside because I share an ethnic identity with somebody. It's disgusting. And the idea that you would ask me to support second-class citizenship, murder, physical control of other populations because of both a real issue of anti-Semitism, historical crimes, or just shared group identity is fundamentally fucked. And let alone an opportunistic, 30-something who hasn't, who's I'm sure is a perfectly nice person, but has not in any way proven herself as even an independent entity trying to, get currency off of attacking.
She got that contract from NBC News. She got a $600,000 contract.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sure that totally spontaneous. Yeah. No nepotism, of course.
She's done nothing. Like that's
nothing.
The problem here. It's like
right.
We hoist these people. I mean, Meghan McCain at least can be fairly competent on The View. At least she's been able to hold that down. Like I can't even think of a single thing that Chelsea Clinton has professionally accomplished or done for anyone else in the world, except for run a foundation where she used the top donors. This came out after the election. Her husband closed his hedge fund down. She was networking with top donors from the Clinton Foundation with him because he wanted to get them to invest in his hedge fund. And he lost billions of dollars for people because he was so bad at being a hedge fund manager. And his main plan was investing heavily in the Greek economy. That was his idea. It was it can't.
Are you serious?
It can't go down. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, sure. And her husband is Jewish, which I think is probably why she feels like she has a right to speak on behalf of all Jews. But his idea was oh yeah, what goes down must come up. And he went heavy in Greece and then lost billions of dollars for investment and couldn't even leverage the fact that his mother-in-law was the Secretary of State into any type of insider information that could make him money. That's how much of a failure he is.
Wow.
That's how much these people are literally addicted to failure, and somehow they've gained wealth and their platform grows. I mean, I don't understand how this is supposed to how we're supposed to treat these people.
It's self-replicating and it's insular and it's incestuous. But you're being totally unfair. I have no doubt that if Ilhan Omar came to New York and applied right out of college for a correspondent job at NBC, she could have gone right up against Chelsea Clinton and gotten that gig.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Gotten that, yeah. What was it, a $600,000 contract. She appeared on television once because she just couldn't do the job.
Really think about that. Literally Tim Russert's fucking 20-something son, who literally was just I would do what my dad does. He fucking was able to sustain an MSN. Yes. He was able to do that, though. He was able, they were able to give him enough Gatorade to be all right, what's going on? Well, Mitch McConnell's going to oppose that.
Sober up, dude.
Yeah, and he fucking did that.
Bro.
That says something.
Yeah.
The next time you're on, though, we might have to have a Bill O'Reilly-style debate about Meghan McCain's competence. I'm not as sure about that as you are.
She at least goes on that show every day.
She sure does. That's true.
At least she does it. At least she's done it more than one time. I just
She's pissed off Joy Behar more than one time. That's true.
Yeah. Well, I always hold it down for the Queen Joy.
Me too. That's not ironic. I actually really like her.
She's an absolute legend. Yeah. And she came out as kind of a Bernie bro, didn't she?
She's had some good
pro
politics.
Universal healthcare and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. She did the one socialism is Sweden, not Venezuela.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I was talking with my friends the other day on our podcast, and all three of us who are, white male comedians all agreed that The View is a good show. So I don't know if that's any type of test audience, but yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's
no. The View is a good show, and Joy Behar is awesome. She rocks. She rocks. Adam Friedland, I hope you'll do more stuff with us. This was fun.
Sorry for ranting. I thought I just get hot,
No, that was good. I liked it. You came.
I get pissed off about this kind of shit.
It's great. I love it. Makes my
Yeah.
job easier. I can just sit back and check out my Puma tracksuit while you're just like, and another thing, the hypocrisy of it all.
And another thing, that she had the gall, the audacity, to call
And
me an
she name
anti-Semite.
searched her own name, not even because it wasn't at her, and she went out of her way while her husband was bankrupting Greece. He couldn't even do nepotism and corruption right. That's what a schmuckle he is. And meanwhile, Hamas is just saying, give us a home.
They don't. It's like, oh my God, I don't even. I can go on. I can go on and on. But thank you for having me.
No, Adam, that was awesome.
It's
Adam,
just great. Could
yeah.
you imagine her going up to like a group of black teenagers on the subway and being like, actually, I've been hearing that word you've been using, and it's one of the most dangerous, painful words in all of history.
You know what's really fucked up is I could absolutely imagine her doing that.
That he can't be self-deprecating is like insane to me.
I could imagine her doing that. And actually, if you look at her dad's career, he did that. I mean, he did basically run for president.
He came out against the N-word.
Yeah, well, he went to, he came, and another thing, NWA is canceled, even if it's in power and it's still toxic. No, he went to Jesse Jackson, and there was a rapper her name was Sister Soldier, and she had like, what by like any standard was like totally minimal, like super chill, like I don't even remember. It was some type of provocative comment about the LA riots. It was nothing. And Jesse Jackson was like basically actually trying to say like, this is a young woman in her early 20s who's trying to talk about politics, young black woman. I'm going to like, talk to her, give her a little bit of attention in my organization, right? Not even necessarily endorse what she's saying. And Bill Clinton shared a stage with Jesse Jackson. This was a famous moment. And without plan, they didn't warn him. The point was to sandbag him and embarrass him in front of the cameras. He was just like, and we must condemn whether it's David Duke or Sister Soldier. And Jesse Jackson was like, fuck you, dude. Like, I mean, that's the other thing about the Clintons. Like, the thing now with the Clintons is that they do like they're pseudo woke, they're pro corporate, but now they pretend to be super like now they'll lecture you on anti-Semitism. But in the 1990s,
Right, yeah.
I mean, Bill Clinton was like, he was a master of dog whistle politics, and not just the dog whistle. He signed things like welfare reform, which were direct attacks on those communities, on all poor people, but it was super racialized. So, there is something look, and I guess for what it's worth, I shouldn't hold Chelsea Clinton responsible for her parents' political career. But on the other hand, if she's going to benefit from it, then she should be held accountable for it too, is frankly my opinion.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I just think of like the whole thing about when Hillary never visited Wisconsin was that they were like, can you stop sending Chelsea? Can Hillary actually just visit this and run for president?
No, I don't want to go. Fuck that. I understand that you think in NWA is using the word in a self-empowered way, but it's innately violent and you're canceled. All right. I'm having too much fun with that. Adam Friedland,
right.
He is a millennial activist, and he's also a co-host of a show called Come Town. Adam?
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, man.
And a stand-up.
Oh, excuse me, and a stand-up comedian.
A stand-up and whatever.
A raconteur.
Okay. What's that?
A raconteur.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Take care. You just enjoyed that Michael Brooks Show video, and you can get a lot more by subscribing to us here at the Michael Brooks Show YouTube channel. It's literally right there.